From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief creator of amazing ideas at stunning digital marketing. In this podcast, I have my good friend and friend of the show, Bridget Willard, with me, and we're going to talk about why she made her website for her agency minimalistic. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This podcast is sponsored by Stunning Digital Marketing, the agency that can help protect your WordPress website today. Go to stunningdigitalmarketing.com and see what we can do to help you protect your business investment. That's stunningdigitalmarketing.com. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here, and today I'm here with my good friend Bridget Willard. Hey Bridget, how you doing today?
Hey Rob, thanks for having me on. I'm okay.
I was
Doing
trying to
okay.
think. This is the third or fourth time and that you've been on the show, something like
It
that.
feels like that because I know I was on with Warren.
Yep, you've been on your own too.
Yeah.
So, friend of the show, and for those who don't know, I was involved in a book project you and Warren did, which was so much fun. That was like a year and a half ago, wasn't it, or
It
something like
feels
that?
like forever ago, but we started those books in 2020 as COVID projects. And then like one of them is actually in a library in Germany. How
Yeah,
crazy is that?
yeah. It's funny. I was saying to you before we went there. Every so often I find a client and say, geez, they need to read this because there's good tips in it. And I sent another client the book the other day. So, it's life is good, right? I
We
mean,
appreciate that. Every once in a while, Warren will be like, we made $4 this month.
yeah. I don't think, the books that making $4 this month aside, you're both really good. Like Warren's a teacher. You like to teach. I think that's
Yeah.
what it comes down to, helping people, right? So
Not
it's
just that, but like the whole intent of that book. I know it's not the subject of this podcast necessarily, but
good.
we've collectively worked with so many clients. We know what the boondoggles are, and we know people that have got bamboozled, and
Yeah.
like it's like a reference book. Like you can read the whole thing, of course, or you could just read the chapter right before you go talk to the slick salesman who's going to try to charge you $20,000 for a website that should cost four.
Yeah, the ones that kill me are the ones that call me up and say, when was the last time you updated your website? And which is where we're gonna go in a minute, but that's okay. And I think you should do some stuff with it. I said, and do you know how many leads I generate to business off that website every month? Oh, and I'm like, you know what? You can make my website as pretty as you want, but if it ain't generating leads, who cares? Who
Yeah.
cares? Who cares that my analytics show I had 1,000 hits? If those 1,000 hits aren't generating leads, which turn into business, who cares?
Yeah. I mean, the vanity metrics are fun,
Yeah,
right? But and it helps, right? Impressions or eyeballs. In marketing, we're paying for eyeballs, whether it's advertising and you have billboards or you're doing door knockers because you're a realtor.
yep,
Um, I was at a pub last night and bunch of like a little group of not a little group, but an unknown fin services group, I think it was First National or something, hosted pub trivia. There's like they're gonna do it every Thursday. Well, that's a great idea. Like
yep.
and then one of their trivia questions was a financial literacy question, of course,
Of
which
course,
is super
that's right.
clever. Yeah, and on the back they had like a QR code to go to their website or whatever, and they're all in suits. I'm like, well, we don't dress like this here because it's too hot.
Yeah,
Corpus Christi is subtropical.
yep,
So we're at 27 degrees north. Tropical is like 25, 23, something like that. So it's humid, it's shorts, it's like it maybe gets cold in February for a week. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so it's cute. They're all wearing their suits and whatnot. Um, you totally knew they didn't belong there. But that's the thing. It's like doing that outreach, right? Whether you're doing it that way or you're doing it on X, Twitter, right? Or you're doing it on LinkedIn, or you're doing Google ads, sponsored Facebook posts, whatever, radio ads. I did radio voiceovers for Graywell Farms.
Yep.
That I wrote the copy, like whatever you're doing, your whole goal is to get people to pay attention to you so that you can get those leads.
Yep.
So it really doesn't matter what you're doing as much as that you have that in your mind as the goal. You are doing this to get leads because
Yes.
you're doing this to make money.
Yes.
And once you start thinking of your website as something that makes you money, then paying $30 a month for hosting on rocket.net ain't no thing, chicken wing, right? So it just depends on what you're doing. You know, a lot of people are like, I redid my website because I was in a place where I didn't have all the resources I used to have. And I love Beaver Builder and I paid for it forever and I'm a referral affiliate for them.
Yep.
But I was just like, you know what? Let's just do this, you know?
And you moved, if I recall right, to one of the base WordPress themes in
Yeah, I
Gutenberg.
just said, forget it. I'm not going to mess around with this. It's just going to be 2024 and whatever I could do. And then Warren fixed my footer because for some reason, footers are like an enigma to me. I
Yep.
go, I want it to look like the Graywell Farms website that I designed. I like the columns in the footer. I think it looks more professional. But mostly, I had gotten all of this feedback all the time. Okay, so here I am, a marketing agency in San Antonio, right? Uh, we relaunched the website there and all the branding and everything. It looks so great. And I had all these inside jokes in it. Rhonda Nagard from Fat Dog Creatives designed it. It was beautiful, but it was heavy. And even when I switched to rocket.net, it's still kind of heavy.
Yep.
And from a loading standpoint, and then people would say, so do you do marketing for bars? And I'm like, no. So do you represent liquor companies? No. But I went through this rebrand where it's like, let's, I'm love that going to the bar and meeting the people, just like the
Yep.
First National people did.
Yep.
That hospitality where people know your name. That's what you're doing on social media. You're like, oh yeah, how you doing? How's it going? You know, all this small talk that everybody thinks is such a waste of time. And it's
Oh,
just, I don't have time for social media, but you're on Discord or you're playing Minecraft, you're doing World of War and talking to your people there. We are going to talk to people no matter where we are, online or not.
yep.
And that is how we get business, period. End of story. The
Yep.
podcast is over, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're funny, but it's true. And so I don't know if you know, I went through an experiment 3 years ago where my site was originally built with Beaver Builder, my agency site. And I made a decision that I was going to go to Gutenberg Box come hell or high water. And at that time, I had a website with 200 blog posts, give or take, because I podcast, and a podcast a week or two podcasts a week becomes two more blog posts a week, right? So I made a decision I was going to do my site gradually. I was going to start working on the blog posts. When the blog post got done, I was going to dive into the pages. When the pages got done, I would throw the switch in, switch the theme and deal with the header and the footer and all that stuff. And I made a move from Gutenberg to basically to Cadence. Now
Okay.
Cadence is a block system and the Cadence theme. So I made that move very quickly. And the reality of it all is the minute I made that move, my GT metric score went up by 14 points
Wow.
without even talking about same host, same layout, 14 points. So one of the reasons for going to blocks is to improve your speed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so like that's the thing is like once you have all this CSS, I think Warren had found out that I had like 25 CSS files or minified CSS JavaScript files. What the hell? How many style sheets do you need on your goddamn website? I mean, I'm sorry, but like, let's be serious here. The whole point of a cascading style sheet is that there's one of them. This is the whole point of CSS. Like, I'm not like a designer or anything, but I took some HTML and CSS classes. You only need
One.
CSS. That's the whole point. One style sheet to rule them all, right? And so I was like, what do you mean I have that many style sheets? Beaver Builder. So I was just like, and then I felt like with so what I was originally gonna do was put it on a staging site and then work on it slowly. But you know what happens when I do that?
You never get to it.
No, because Family Feud's on and I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
Who wants to work on your website? It's boring.
Mhm.
So I did it live. Da 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 da, big surprise. Cowboy coding for the win. And I just like switched the theme like I used to in the old days when you would just switch a theme because it was fun, like on WordPress.com. Just
Yep.
switch the theme. Who cares? Now I will say this. If you do that, there's a lot of work because the content was all there. Like, thank you, Beaver Builder. Like, I didn't lose any content. It's not like other page builders where you lose content if you
Yeah.
do that. But it was all in this like non-block template. And then it would say, do you want to keep as HTML? Sure. So it's one giant block of HTML. Well, all I did was like, I still have a couple pages to fix, but what I did was I just went in there and I copied it and I went to my favorite tool, wordhtml.com.
Yes.
And then I pasted in there and I copied and I cleaned the code. And then I started like cutting and pasting paragraphs at the bottom. And then slowly by slowly, I just built it back up block by block. And I deleted the original HTML. Who cares? Like, my website isn't getting that many leads. Okay. It's not an e-commerce site. You would never do that for an e-commerce site. That would be way stupid, especially if you were actually getting sales all the time.
Mhm.
But for me, it didn't matter. I also didn't like how it looked on mobile. And I
Yeah.
was thinking about how I am as a user. I want that font to be 16 points. Like, I don't want to put on my reading glasses to read a blog article on my phone if I see it on Twitter,
Yeah.
you know? And I have LASIK with monovision. So I shouldn't have to ever put on
Hang on,
reading
Bridget.
glasses. Okay, so the thing is, I didn't want to like, mess around with it. So I just did it that way, block by block. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then I really wanted people to be able to read my blog post if they saw it on X, Twitter, or wherever, without having to put on reading glasses or whatever, right? When you have the mobile experience, and we forget about this, but just because you have a computer doesn't mean that's what you're going to do. I don't want to sit at my computer all the time. I don't even want to like sit at my dining room table with my computer for this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be at a desk. Todd Jones was tweeting. I don't care. I'm just going to say tweeting. I know it's X, but posting. He was posting. No, he's tweeting. He's like, I have all these ideas and I sit at my desk. What's going on? It's just like some kind of funky block that you get by that physical space.
Yeah.
And that's been happening to me where I hate my office. So now it has sewing machines in it. My best friend has her sewing machines in there. And, that's fine with me. I don't go in there. I don't want to be in there
Mhm.
because that's not what I'm doing. Right. So I just work at my dining room table and have it like with basketball on or something. and well, not by the time this comes out because the Mavericks couldn't
It will
make
be
it
over
happen.
tonight at the time of this
Dude, it was
recording.
over. It was over on Wednesday with
Yeah.
the. It was over on Wednesday with those excessive calls on Luka Doncic.
Now,
Be that
now,
as it may.
now, what I will say is, so you've kind of minimalized your website, and one of the things you and I were talking about before we went to recording the podcast was maybe clients should think about minimalizing theirs. There becomes
Yes.
a point where all this flashy stuff, if it's not generating leads, does it really matter? And I keep saying that. I had a guy, did I say this already? A guy today called me and he said, "Oh, your website needs work. When was the last time you updated?" I said, "Last month." And he said, "But I think the design's out." I said, "Do you understand that that website generates 40 leads a month?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter." People
Right.
don't get that.
Like I learned this by I did some client work for roofermarketers.com. They're one of the
Yep.
biggest seven-figure agencies. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it's a really great book. Maybe you don't need that, but anyway, it's like niche marketing, right? Just do marketing for roofers, just do marketing for plumbers, just do marketing for plastic surgeons, you know. Um, and and there were three templates that they could choose. Um, the copy that I wrote was all templated. So if they did metal roofing, we just copied and pasted from the Google Doc the little blurb I wrote about metal roofing. You know, I don't know if they've changed it. They might have changed in that copy, but that's what they're doing. And it didn't matter because these websites, plain, boring, whatever, they work. They work because they're simple, they answer questions, they're direct, they're clean,
Yep.
and they use them for Google ads.
That's correct.
So it doesn't we're snobs, you know? And I mean, we're like music snobs, you know? You go to karaoke and you're like, I'm not drunk enough to hear all these people sing off key. I can't. I just can't deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
or you're like, you know, you listen to a band, you're like, I can't with this. You know, I've been going to see a lot of live music lately, and I'm like, that bass is too loud. Who's doing the sound? Somebody let me up there. Like, I'll do this, run the soundboard. I can't listen to this anymore because we're too educated, but we are not the user. We're not a general pop person.
Yeah.
We're
And
not a regular person who just needs somebody to fix their toilet today.
the only time I think it really matters, Bridget, truthfully, is if you're selling art or
Yeah.
you're selling,
Photography.
paintings or photography, then you got to jazz it up a little bit. But I don't think you need to you need to jazz it up, and people are caught in that all the time. And I think the one thing people miss is, why do people go to a website? One, to find out where you are, and two, to find out information very quickly.
Yeah, like when are you open?
Yeah.
You would not believe how many times. I mean, we thought we learned this from COVID, but like just even around this coastal bend where I live, there's so many businesses that don't have correct business hours.
That's correct.
It's ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
and you're right about the easy questions, but so maybe if you're a wedding venue, but you still have to have pictures and whatnot,
Yeah.
but people are going to look at that on their phones.
Yeah. They
They're
are.
gonna look on their phone. Everybody's on their phone, you know,
Yeah.
and that's a different podcast, right? But that's a whole thing. Like my friend and I were walking in the mall the other day. When I say the other day, but it could have been like 3 weeks ago. We walk into Dillard's, kind of a Nordstrom like store, and there's all these salespeople, right? In the makeup and perfume counter, jewelry
Yeah.
counter.
As you
We
walked
just,
into.
yeah, we just walked in. We went phone, 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 phone. All of the salespeople are like this, like it's that
No
prayer
questions.
pose. They're not looking at people. They're sitting on their chairs.
Yeah.
They're not mingling around. Like they're terrible. Let them be at work camps behind a booth, right? Because they're just sitting there. Yeah, I'm not going to go bother somebody if they're like just sitting on their phone. Hey,
Yeah.
can you show me this lipstick? You know what I mean? But like even salespeople that get commission are on their phone,
Yeah. They don't
phone,
care.
because we've forgotten how to connect with each other in person. So like it should be easy to find out what's going on. It should be a good experience. Something that Warren always uses is customer delight.
Yes.
He's a chef, he's a artist. That's something that he thinks about. I think about the user experience. Is it easy to fill out this form? How many pages do I have to skip through before I can pay you? How much stuff do you really need from me? What is this payment gateway going on? Like, I'm just trying to order a bathing suit. What's happening here?
Yeah. I get it. It's so true. And people don't. The other thing is these people don't know how to network and engage, and they don't realize that sales is a long process. So
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
about you, but when I go even in retail, and you're working part-time retail right now, I go into retail, I don't buy right away unless it's on sale, but generally as a rule, I'm probably looking for what I'm going to buy a month from now. I just bought a brand new suit the week after I came out of the hospital. And you know, I had looked at the same suit 3 times and tried it on twice and
So
had my
I
part.
mean, that's common with big ticket purchases. Now I'm at TJ Maxx.
Yeah,
It's a discount store. You wait till tomorrow and it's gone
yeah,
because
yeah.
they get 7 of an item of clothing or 14,
That's
but
right.
that's it. And then it's gone.
Yeah.
So it'll be a small, an extra small, 2 smalls, 2 mediums, a large, and extra large top.
And it's out the
And
door.
that's it. That's it. So but that's like the Costco, Sam's, Price Club, the discount retailer, like it's there and then it's gone. You
Walmart
don't know
to
it's
some
there.
degree.
But that goes to their marketing
Yes.
uh campaign that you have to go for the hunt. I mean, that's always been their business model is they want people to be there for a long time looking. Like when we put clothes away, we can't just put all the clothes together.
No.
Like you can't put 2 shirts that are exactly the same together
You got to
because
split
they
them up.
want them mixed up. They call it hashed, which is a weird term, but everybody's got their jargon. So, I
But
mean,
there
so
was,
that was part of it, right? Like
yeah,
that
there was,
anticipation, that's a different business model. But I was just talking to somebody else on Twitter yesterday about publishing pricing. And they're like, should you publish your prices on your website? I'm all for it
I do,
because it gets
I
rid of the
do,
tire kickers.
I do some and I don't do some. So for like my security care plan prices, they're on my website. There's no question.
Yeah.
Other ones will say starting at.
Yeah.
And and the way I roll, interesting enough, most people book you into an email sequence. I don't do that. I
Yeah.
book them right into a call. Forget the email sequence. Screw that. If you're interested, let's get on a call. Let's hash it out now. Once they book that call, they're going into the email sequence whether you like it or
Right.
not. But
Right.
that's just the reality of it. And they say, but, and I'm like, no, you can unsubscribe. You're into the sequence you go. Because,
Yeah.
but,
So I
but,
mean, when I did all of that, Rob, I also like looked back at my pricing, you know. So I rolled back some of those prices, much like IKEA is doing, and who else is there's a bunch of people like big stores rolling back. I think Walmart's rolling back
oh,
prices.
and there's some of the
Target
grocery
is rolling
stores.
back prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got, well, I can roll back some of those prices. I have a 20% discount for people in my county. Um, but like, of course, I have a secret menu. You just need X, Y, or Z. Well, I can roll up some numbers for you. I
Yeah.
just had a conversation with another person, one of my friends who has an agency. He was like, "Can you write me up a price just if you're doing this?" And I'm like, "Yeah," and just for a white labeling, so he could offer it. If one of his clients take it, I do the work. He gets a markup. Everybody's happy. So, but my main things that I want to sell, a lot of those prices are there so that you know how much it is,
Yeah.
and the part of like part of it is like, yeah, you could get Chat GPT to write your articles and not pay me whatever my price is for that low end article. But
I hear you saying that.
is it going to what? Bring leads to your website?
Yeah. But I think AI is a tool. And I've talked about this on this podcast. I've talked about it on social. I've talked about it everywhere. I don't think AI is the answer to everything. I think it's a good starter. But once you get the AI stuff in front of you, you still gotta go in and massage it and edit it. Like anybody who's just putting it out doesn't understand that.
Yeah, that's the problem. So I know clients will come back
Yep.
because, like I think I say, how's that AI working out for you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
these are boring articles, and I like when I talk about my product launch with words, I always get the duplicate content question, which is annoying. It's so annoying because I'm like, have you heard of the Associated Press?
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep.
but like, can you imagine how much duplicate content there is from people who are using ChatGPT? I mean, the professors at colleges are getting this as a problem.
Yeah, they're
So,
starting to search ChatGPT for plagiarism. No question.
I mean, it is plagiarism,
Yeah.
but like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like a writer will get personality into your brain, into your brand. A writer will answer questions that your customers are always asking you. Like, this is what I always believed even when I was at Riggins Construction. We should be answering common questions on our website
I agree.
with my, you know, key to fame was my epoxy injection video. Like, we got that question so many times. Like, this is pre-sales content. You should be building a sales library for social media, for your salespeople, for your email marketing. It should all come from your website, which is a source of truth. And that comes from blog articles.
Yep. It's true.
But at the same time, like for my redesign, going back to that, I wanted a certain font size. I wanted people to be able to read it really easy. I wanted it to be super clean.
Yep.
Just read what you have to read. Click on the link if you want to. And if you want to look at my pricing, look at my pricing. But what I'm doing is educating you
Yep.
so that you can go with whoever you want. Like, because at the end of the day, yeah, I would really like to have more clients. I have openings for more clients. That's not the point. I want people, more than that, I want people to make educated decisions and not waste their money on people who are not delivering what they promised,
I agree. I agree.
which nobody can afford that. How much money has been wasted on agencies who underperform?
Yep. Now, some of that too, though, let's be fair, is because the client goes in with the agency and is unrealistic. So they haven't figured out that building a website or building a marketing funnel is like eating in a restaurant. If you want a Coke, you pay this cost. If you want an apple pie for dessert, we add $5. If you want the prime rib, that's another $40. You want the mashed potatoes on the side, I'll add 10. You get it's like a menu.
Well, yeah. I mean, website by committee is like renting out the restaurant, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, yes, it depends. But I have heard so many horror stories
yeah,
from clients where they're like, I spent all this money and they did nothing. Now, maybe there were unrealistic expectations, but there's a lot of people who overcharge and under deliver in
yeah.
any industry.
And sometimes you just can't do it. Like 2 years ago, I did work with a guy who published a book, and his wife came to me and said, "We want you to do the social." It came recommended. And I said, "Okay, but you're a month before Christmas. There is no way in a month, even I can't work that miracle." There's a reason book publishers drop all their books in August and September for Christmas sales. Books are a long lead in. And she
Yep.
came back to me after a month and said, "You didn't really do anything." I said, "Excuse me. I told you up front that your cycle had to be longer.
Yeah.
So a lot of it too sometimes is expectations on the client.
Yes. Yes. And make it a lot of times, and that's why the education is so important to me,
Yeah.
because we have to be on the same terminology. We have to
Mhm.
be on the same, uh, I hate the expression, but on the same page.
Yep.
Like, do you understand this word that I'm saying? Yes. Okay. Do you understand the implications of this? Right. So I used to do Instagram. I will not do Instagram. Instagram needs to be done in house. End of story. If you hire somebody to do Instagram, I'm sorry. Maybe it's like, but it's different if it's like maybe a VA that's just you. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the most personal, like intimate wise of any of the channels. And I have managed Instagram. It takes the most time. It takes the most effort. You have to have pictures. It needs to be done in house. And
Yeah.
so I won't do it anymore for other people. I obviously I did it for Riggins Construction, for Graywell Farms, for Give WP, when I had jobs. But I won't, I've done it for clients and they're like, I'm like, this is all you're paying for. I can't do more than what I'm doing for this price, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know what you really need to do is like what I was offering was consistency,
Yep.
like regular posting. But you still need to get on the bullhorn and be recording videos because that's what Instagram's all about. Like if you're sitting on your couch in your pajamas, then so be it. But I can't do that for you.
No, I agree. And then the other one people got to be careful with TikTok is because frankly, I won't do TikTok for clients. I think before the year's out, it's going to go up in smoke in North America. I have big issues with the way they run. You can do shorts on YouTube anyway. So I just kind of steer away. So that's kind of
Yeah, it's not my thing. I mean, normally I'm not like super privacy paranoid, but I'm like, man, this is just giving all the data to China and 2 hours would go like this. Now I could do that on Reels,
yep.
but I trust Facebook more, more Meta. I trust them more, I guess. I don't know. You know what? I just didn't like it. Okay. I didn't like that whole vibe. And apparently there's some documentary on Netflix about the dance revolution on TikTok and sex trafficking and stuff like that. I don't have time for this ridiculousness.
No.
I just want to have fun, look at chickens, watch crazy parrots, connect with
And
my friends,
cat pictures.
cat pictures.
Yeah.
Like to me, Instagram became the place where my friends are.
Yep.
And that's what I mean. It's become this intimate place.
Yes.
And so anyway, that's like kind of a tangent, but so when I redid my pricing, I still don't have that. But I did add in some of my secret menu things. It's
Yeah.
just that like I really want to make sure that my website is usable on the smallest device. I have a MacBook from 2017 and a 13-inch monitor. I'm not a nerd. Like I used to have to tell my designer friend, you're looking at a giant ass TV that's bigger than the TV in my bedroom
Mhm.
and design my website that way, which is great. But that's not what it looks like to me because I'm on a normal size laptop.
Yeah. And the problem with that is, you know what the problem with designing on a big monitor is? You don't get your spacing right.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying.
have you ever tried to play with spacing? You can no longer get spacing 100% right because of all the screen sizes. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
And on top of that, the view port for reading should
Yeah.
be 650 to 700 pixels, period. End of story. It should never be bigger than that because it has to do with the comfort of our eyes moving this way. This
Yeah.
is how our eyes move. We have more movement this way than this way. That's why our head moves like this.
I
So,
agree.
and this is why like that whole like watching your phone like this is so weird because from an evolutionary standpoint, we scan side to side. Anyway, I'm autistic. Did I tell you I got diagnosed as autistic this year
No, you
too?
did not, but yes.
Autistic, talk about puzzle pieces being filled. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
Like
it
my
does.
frustration tolerance, people thinking that I'm a total jerk just because I'm trying to understand what they're saying. My face looks like this, being super like right about things. Even though I'm right, like, okay, like I saw a thing on Instagram the other day. It was like, I'm not going to get involved in your drama. If you say 1+1 is 5, that's fine.
That's fine. Go with
Have
that.
fun with that.
So, Bridget, you are looking for more. You are looking for more clients, and let's find you some.
Yeah.
What's your website, and how's the best way to get a hold of you?
Oh, BridgetWillard.com.
Yeah.
And you can get a hold of me on X at Bridget M. Willard, Instagram, Bridget M. Willard, Twitter is still X.
Yeah.
Facebook. You can if you type in Bridget Willard, you're gonna find me. I have teaching videos, I have YouTube channels, all that. But the website's the best way because then you'll fill out the form or something like that, or you can DM me on Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter forever. X is stupid. DM me on X. What does that even mean? It's too weird. I can't do it.
Hey, Bridget, thanks for your time today. You have a wonderful evening.
You
Bye.
too. Thanks.
Bye. This show is brought to you by StunningDigitalMarketing.com, your Toronto leader in digital marketing services. Not only do we protect your WordPress website, we can help you with your site, provide social media management for your business, or even do one-on-one consulting. To find out more, go to StunningDigitalMarketing.com. A very special thank you to Bridget for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much. I love you, and I think about you every day. For more information about Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing experts, go to StunningDigitalMarketing.com or go to StunningDigitalMarketing.info to find out all the great places that Rob Cairns can be found on the web.